formal speakers, so, and I'm looking around at the Brain Trust here. First I thought the Brain Trust was here, but now I'm seeing it's really kind of... and I am humbled and inspired as ever by the partnership and enthusiasm I see in the business and education communities in Chino Valley. So I'm going to want to use part of our time to ask questions of you and get some feedback. Start off with a couple questions. You'll hear some themes based on what Dean Morgan said and Mr. Noggle, but how many people here have heard the nasty rumor that the cost of a college education is skyrocketing and a barrier to students? Anybody heard that rumor? Okay. So anybody heard the rumor that education, and especially higher education or bachelor's level education in Arizona, is lagging behind much of the nation? You heard that one? Okay. Probably some of you have seen headlines lately that look pretty grim for the state of Arizona and the colleges and universities in Arizona in regards to the state budget. I'm going to guess that most of you have some sense of what I'm talking about there. Dean Morgan can talk about that. We're certainly facing some challenges, but there's a lot of good news too. And I think one of the things I wanted to kind of piggyback with John's message was that we have an opportunity to shape that message in our communities and to lead and inspire others. And the truth is that in these difficult times, we really do have opportunity. We have tremendous expertise here. We have visionary leaders here. We have an agile infrastructure here to be able to bring together business and education in ways that much of the state, much of the country cannot. And specifically, I would say that Yavapai County is uniquely situated in Arizona to really be a leader in higher education. How many people here have come from a state other than Arizona? Yeah, a lot of you that have probably been in states where you've seen lots and lots of college and university options at the bachelor level. State systems with many different campuses, private school options. Arizona doesn't have that same infrastructure. Arizona has 3 research-based universities, a tremendous community college system that serves the state very well, very little else at the bachelor level. Very few private school options, regional university options. Yavapai County is truly an exception in that you've got Prescott College and Embry-Riddle and now North Central, a fully online school. But something that has been missing across the state of Arizona is a bachelor level education really focused on workforce skills and on a regional focus with teaching at the basis of it. And about a year and a half ago, I was up in Flagstaff, minding my own business, and wondering if I would have a job with state budget cuts, when suddenly the governor went before the Arizona Board of Regents and the 3 university presidents. And by the way, since I'm here today, I got out of going to a Board of Regents meeting and hearing grim educational news all day long, so thank you for that. But about a year and a half ago, the governor went to the state education leaders and university leaders and challenged them and said, we cannot continue the way we are. We can't continue to price education at the bachelor's level to a place where our residents can't afford it. We need to increase the numbers of people in Arizona who hold a baccalaureate degree so that we can compete, so that we can have an educated workforce with the core skills that are needed to be successful in the business world, so that we can attract new businesses to our communities. And we're not doing that because we're not providing options to residents of Arizona in that way. Now, one way that has been tossed out that could happen would be to look at that strong community college system and say maybe the community colleges could take on that role and increase what they're doing and start to deliver baccalaureate level education. That's happened in a couple of states in the country in the last 10 years, Florida is an example of that. And that's been on the table for a while. Yavapai College President Jim Horton, and among others, have kind of argued that that's maybe not in the state's best interest or in the best interest of our communities, because if the community college were to take that on as part of their mission, their comprehensive and workforce skill programs might become a less important factor, and we need those too, those certificate programs, those the adult basic education, the ESL, and so many other of the programs that the community college is doing. On the other hand, it's pretty difficult to build something entirely new. So there was a lot a year and a half ago, a lot of kind of hand-wringing and that sort of challenge of being told to do something differently, no new money, of course. And there was exactly one place in the state of Arizona that was equipped to do it, and that was Yavapai County. As it turned out, Yavapai College and NAU had been talking for some time about how they might partner and share their resources to deliver degree programs to students in new ways, to look at what the barriers were that were keeping students from going on. We were seeing increased enrollment at Yavapai College, but people stopping out after their certificate or associate degrees. And to take a look at that and figure out how we could work together. I volunteered. And it was my privilege to be able to jump on board with the new regional university, NAU-Yavapai. And I can tell you, there's so much to be proud of here. That we have business leaders and elected officials who are willing to say, we're not sure how this is going to work, but we're going to do it. So the dirty secret that I'm going to share in this room, since we're friends, is that we've been building the boat while we've been going down the river for the past year and a half. And it's a fast-moving river. So we got a lot on board that we're really proud of, and I wanted to share some updates today, but mostly I wanted to say, okay, we're coming up for air. What do we need to know from you to truly make this regional university a dynamic presence for your students coming out of the school district, for your students coming out of Yavapai College, for the residents of Chino Valley, and for the businesses in this area? Is my time up?
Is that too subtle?
I haven't even asked for help yet. I put on all your tables a little bit that tells about some of the things, some of the key concepts that we've put in place with NAU-Yavapai. We really wanted to fill some gaps or kind of draw on what's already here, the school districts that are here, what Yavapai College is doing, what Prescott College and Embry-Riddle are doing in this area. Looked for an area where we can fill a gap and address some of the things that we've been challenged to do at the state level. So our focus is on increasing the number of baccalaureate degrees in Yavapai County and in the state of Arizona. And why does that matter? It matters for a lot of reasons. I mentioned that. The ability to draw new business is a huge part of it, and those who work in the economic development sector can talk about those conversations that they have with businesses looking at moving into Yavapai County and what they want to know about the people who live here. But beyond that, there's a lot of ways that directly and indirectly higher education and an educated population impacts our quality of life. I've seen all kinds of statistics on people who hold a bachelor's degree in physically healthier lives, lower rates of smoking, higher rates of community volunteerism, of participation in the political process, of raising healthy families and depending less on public monies. So all of those things, it is, a commitment. It is a service to this area. In addition to that, we want to provide a service to the people who are here, provide access that hasn't necessarily been here, public university bachelor's level education in these communities of Yavapai County. And finally, as we grow, we really see that this is an area that can draw people from across the state and even out of state to Yavapai County, both to attend school and bring their money here, but also to perhaps relocate here and be part of the business opportunities that follow their university education. I've looked around at, I love Tucson, and I lived in Flagstaff, and I can even get myself to Tempe on occasion. But there aren't options, a lot of options for students when they're looking at places in Arizona to go, to feel safe, to feel part of a community, different levels of sizes of communities. This gives a choice. This region, I think, provides access to students, and we'll see that we'll be able to draw from outside of Yavapai County. Some of the key things that we've been working to develop: a 3-year bachelor's degree.
Would the students from Mrs. Powell's class, periods 1 through 4, meet in room 60 today, and periods 6 and 7 will meet in room 71?
You're going to hear us talking a lot, you'll see our advertisements talking a lot about a 3-year degree, which is a great option for many people. It's a new option for a lot. Something to know about that is you could go to ASU or to NAU or a lot of places and complete a degree in 3 years if you choose your classes well and you go in the summertime and you pay extra money, and you can fast track it. We wanted to create something that wasn't really an accelerated track, that was a step-by-step program, real lockstep, supported, without extra cost, with all the costs built in. So you're going to hear us talking about a 3-year degree, and that's one way that students can approach this. They don't have to. They can also come to us as transfer students. They can go at a slower pace. But we wanted to reduce the time to degree for those who were looking for that in and out. Those days of a 6-year bachelor's degree, while they were great for me, probably aren't a realistic option or the best option for many people. If anybody here is putting their kids through school, you know what I mean. So we're using a year-round calendar, but we're doing it in a way that gives students breaks and kind of sequences the classes, or never taking more than 3 classes at once. It's meant to be a manageable program, and one where you see yourself kind of working your way through, and it feels relevant, and we're tied to workforce skills and to applied learning opportunities all the way through. Another really big factor I have to get across is cost. The cost of higher education is going up. You have tremendous opportunities through the community college to save some money. And we would love to see people go to Yavapai College and transfer to NAU-Yavapai and finish here. We've also tried to make it not necessarily just about cost, that students can look at what's the best learning environment for them, and that they're not penalized one way or the other. So what we've done, this is a complete partnership with Yavapai College and NAU. What's unique here is the students, if they come to NAU-Yavapai as a freshman, they never transfer, they never leave. They're in one system all the way through, it's fluid. But in 3 years' time, they are awarded a certificate for what we call the Arizona General Education Curriculum certificate. They're awarded an associate's degree without ever leaving from Yavapai College. They're awarded a second certificate that we've built into their bachelor's degree in workforce areas, and kind of have to do with core and communication skills. And they're awarded a bachelor's degree. They come out 3 years' time, two certificates, 2 degrees, the lowest university cost in the state of Arizona. And that's because Yavapai College was willing to look at this and say, how can we make this a win-win? We aren't funded in the same ways from the state anymore. Our per-student funding just isn't what it was. So how can we give all this value to students in one system, partner and share our services, and keep those costs down? Our partnership is really important with 2 schools, but we also partner very closely with the town of Prescott Valley. And as we grow, and this is where I really want to turn to you, is how can we make dynamic partnerships, build dynamic partnerships across the county? Because what we're trying to deliver here are degrees that make people feel like they understand what's needed in the workforce, how they can step into that workforce, not just find jobs, but be effective in those jobs. And I'd like to hear from a lot of you about what things our high school students need to know, what things would be most meaningful to your community as we go forward. We've built in what we call a lot of applied learning opportunities, so that students from their first year are connecting with mentors, are going into the workforce and observing in formal ways what leadership looks like, what dynamic organizations do, how government works. And as they get into their second year, that they're contributing hours into practicum experiences and on into an internship and faculty-based research programs in their third and final year. They also, as part of that whole program, have the opportunity to spend 5 weeks studying Spanish in Costa Rica as part of their foreign language experience. And again, all of this is sort of delivered in a real direct package. So there's lots of good news. There's lots to be proud of. This is a new model. We feel like we're just in a wonderful position with absolutely no extra state funding to build something that makes sense. And from our perspective, as I said, we're trying to figure this out as we go. We brought in just one cohort of students this year. We wanted to serve them, figure out what needed to happen, but we are poised to grow. And starting in August of 2011, we want to see that growth become exponential, that students know that this option is there, that we can accept students with transfer credits, up to and including an associate degree, as well as students who might be coming in who've maybe been away from college for many years. So I am going to ask what we can do for you and with you, but I'm also going to want to talk just for a minute here about what I'd like to ask of you, or what ways that you can support this regional process. Probably the most important is to think about people you know who could benefit from this, and encourage someone you know to go to school and to pursue a certificate or a degree. Maybe somebody who never thought that was accessible to them, that they weren't successful in high school, didn't think they were college material. This is a very structured and supported system. We think it's a place where a lot of people can be successful, and that's really our focus. Maybe somebody who started out and stopped out, who went to ASU and got overwhelmed by the size of it, who went to Flagstaff and hated that snow, who is now back at home and working or not working, but not sure what opportunities are there for them. If you know somebody, a neighbor, a friend, a granddaughter of someone you know, put them in touch with us, encourage them, bring them to the campus. We're located in Prescott Valley, adjacent to the new library. If you haven't seen the facility, it's inspiring, it's beautiful, and we want to create a sense of space there. We would also welcome any opportunities to connect with you as mentors. We've started a brown bag series that our students are loving, where we bring in people from various workforce sectors to talk about, in kind of an informal way, to talk about their careers, to talk about some of the leadership ideas that they see, to answer questions. There's opportunity for you to connect with an individual student or a small group of students, bring some expertise, or simply to take them out for a cup of coffee and give them a positive word. As we go forward, we'll definitely be needing to build up our applied learning opportunities. And that means if you're in a place where your business could accommodate somebody coming in and observing you for a day, or could accommodate an internship down the road, we'd love to know about that. And of course, direct support, always appreciated. We have kept our tuition and are committed to keeping our tuition below the federal Pell Grant level. The Pell Grant level for a year right now is $55.50. Those who have the greatest need can qualify for up to that amount. Our tuition this year is $4,500 for 12 months. We wanted to put that level where a student had a cost that was predictable, that they could see that that included the fees, it included everything except for textbooks. And we wanted a little bit of space in there that they could afford that and to put some gas in their tank too. But textbooks is an area where I really want to stress, if you are in a position or you know a business that might be able to support students, we are building a textbook scholarship fund. $250 provides textbooks for a term. $750 provides textbooks for a year. Textbooks are expensive, but we are working to keep those costs low, and we are trying to get as much mileage as we can out of the partnerships and those commitments. So we're taking care of that tuition part if we can show commitment there. So if you know somebody who could be involved that way, we would love to hear from you. I've talked too much, so I know I have just a few minutes left, but what questions can I answer, or what thoughts do you have about what NAU-Yavapai or the higher education institutions in Yavapai County can do in Chino Valley? Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I wonder if you expand a little bit on the internship. What do you envision that a student would do as an internship? I wonder where that might fit into something the town could do.
Absolutely. We have, our programs are going to be limited in number. We're not going to become, anytime soon, a school that offers 30, 40, 50 different programs. We have 4, and we're maybe going to have a 5th bachelor degree, and then about 6 or 7 certificates that coordinate with that. One of the key areas are community development and sustainability. So students who are interested in community development, for instance, might intern on an unpaid basis. You know, if it's a paid internship, great, but that's certainly not required. We would have a faculty support for the internships, and they would earn 3 to 6 credits at the end of their 3rd year, really engaged with community development projects. We have additional degrees in entrepreneurship, in service industry management or leadership in the service economy, and in applied human behavior, trying to tap into a lot of human services. That we see a lot of jobs in Yavapai County. So we would love, especially with that community development and sustainability, to connect with local governments and put students to work on real projects as we can, and use their energy and their passion. So, what are your thoughts? Is there anybody from the school? What can we do to get the word out or to make this attractive to students? And, yeah.
I have a question because I'm coming from being an older person, over 50, who's gone to college, has no degree. I'm looking at going back to school because I'd like to get a degree. What is the curriculum like? Do people work a full-time job or a part-time job while they're going to school? Because I see that as a great barrier for people, especially in hard economic
I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Thank you. Yes, our entire delivery system is based on students going to a school 2 days a week. We have what we call hybrid courses, where they're in the classroom about half of what a normal time would be. The other half is completed through online components, so that they're using technology, but for every class they're connected with real faculty and with their peers on projects. But that allows us, so students right now might be in a cohort that comes to school just on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we do have a lot of students, even traditional age students. They might be traditional age, but many of them are not traditional in the responsibilities that they have with their family and their jobs and things. And they can just set up their work schedule, and they can know that those days will be consistent through their 3 years.
That's fantastic. Because that is a barrier for a lot of people who are going back. I don't care what their age is.
Yeah.
Considering, the economy in general right now.
Anybody else have ideas or thoughts? Or we welcome the opportunity to get the word out. As I said, when I say that the boat was being built as we were going down the river, we feel it's not a leaky boat. We feel it's a strong boat, and that, as we say, that we've got some more in the boat now, and we just feel like we're ready for that next step, and that we've got the programs built. The faculty, full-time faculty, are being hired to come on board this summer, and that we are really poised to serve the needs of your school district, of your Yavapai College graduates, and we hope of your community. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be here, and if I can answer any questions at all. Let's see. Mr. Ray Newton says that he and his lovely wife Patty just started the process to endow the NAU-Yavapai program with an endowed scholarship that will be in place this summer from the Newton Family Foundation. And I might just tear up right now. So, thank you so much. Come visit us if you haven't been out.